For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Reverend Edward Trout. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm an ordained interfaith minister through One Spirit Seminary out of New York, and it is my pleasure to be your speaker here this morning. I want to start with a story, a true story, that was shared in the Elephant Journal. It was shared by Dr. Ann Burnett. I'll paraphrase it, otherwise it would be really lengthy. But she was on a lunch break, and she had seen this shorter woman with a little service dog that seemed to be following her a little bit. And finally the woman said to her, "You are my doctor." And Dr. Ann was like, I can't place her, I don't know. So the woman jogged her memory by saying, 2 years ago, on Thanksgiving, I had a stroke. And you were the doctor that saw me, and I was paralyzed. And I had my service dog with me, and that brought it all right back. And she remembered her. And the former patient said to her, "You talked to me about the basketball players." And she remembered that, and she said, "And you told me I would walk again." Now, Dr. Burnett says, "I remember telling her she could walk again, but she took that could and turned it into a would, because that's what she focused on." So the basketball players, the story that was shared was about an experiment done in Greece, where they took some basketball players, they split the team, and half of them, for 30 minutes a day, would go to the court and practice their free throws. Fairly standard. The other half never touched the court. They would go into a darkened room, and they would imagine themselves making those free throws. In the background, there was a narrator narrating exactly what that should look like, what their bodies are doing, what is going on, how they're processing. So for the same 30 minutes that their fellow players were on the court, they were sitting in that room, just listening and imagining. At the end of the experiment, they put the two groups back together. What do you think happened? They were better. Their percentage increased by 39%, and they smoked the other group. Because in their minds, with the reinforcement, they were doing it perfectly every time. And the mind doesn't really know the difference between that and the lived process. So when Dr. Burnett had told this patient that story, she didn't think it registered. The woman seemed completely unimpressed, which I can understand. If you're feeling like your life may have just turned upside down, you're paralyzed, that story may not really register, but obviously it did. And Dr. Burnett goes on to say that this woman later, once she had gotten back literally on her feet, was not only walking, she was back dancing. She was volunteering at the hospital with her dog to work with other patients. And Dr. Burnett said, "I am grateful for the reminder that sometimes when I believe that no one is listening or cares about what I have to say, it still matters." And it also made, from that moment on, Dr. Burnett more aware of her intention, where her focus was going, what her imagination was doing. There's an affirmation I really enjoy from the Inner Light Foundation that says, "The light within me creates miracles in my life here and now." The light within me creates miracles in my life here and now. You are the light of the world, right? We know this phrase. How often do we forget it? I want to talk to you about the title of today's talk. We Are Sacred Dreamers. That title was actually inspired by a Hay House publication. Who knows the publishing company Hay House? Good, most. I assume who knows Louise Hay? There should be mostly the same hands because she's the founder of the company. Louise has since made her transition, but she was a remarkable individual. She was such a proponent of what our thoughts do, putting love into our body, making sure that our focus is on those positive things. During the 80s and even into the 90s, she, out in California, would take her group into AIDS hospices and work with the patients there to improve their lives. All these wonderful things she did. She was also a dear friend, for those that remember the Reverend Dr. David Alt. He's been here a few times. Dear friend of Reverend Dr. Alt. So anyway, this publishing company has a product that I've enjoyed, which is just a group of cards. Some would call them oracle cards. For me, they're just inspirational cards. They have beautiful reminders on them and beautiful artwork that is not AI. It's real artwork. I feel passionate about that. So in the inside of that box that holds those is the quote, "We are all sacred dreamers, dreaming the world into being." So the collection of cards is called The Shaman's Dream. We are all sacred dreamers, dreaming the world into being. That quote really struck me recently as so much being in line with Unity's principles, that the world we live in, the world we experience, is what we interpret. We are co-creating this world. Our thoughts create our experiences. Our dreams create this world. Eric Butterworth, who was a very well-known Unity minister and author, has said famously, and it's been reworded in many ways, but he said, "Man is not in the world to set it right, but to see it rightly." So taking the gender out of it, we are not here to set the world right. We are here to see it rightly. But how do we do that? Well, as was discussed earlier, the power of this month that we focus on is our imagination. It is with us always, but this month we sort of take a special interest in imagination. We use our imagination all the time. Are we using it for positive effects, or are we imagining the worst? How is your imagination serving you? It is there as a power. Are you utilizing it that way, or are you letting it pull you down, which is not its intention? The disciple that is associated with imagination is Bartholomew, who is meant to represent positive thoughts held in mind. Positive thoughts held in mind. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, after all. So if you are not liking what the world is showing you, if you're not liking how your life is currently going, and let's face it, many of us look around at the world today and there are many things that trouble us. Can we imagine a better world? Everything that exists starts as a thought. This month's affirmation, I envision peace for the entire world, or I hold a vision of peace for the entire world. Can you say that and mean it? That's not the easiest thing, because we see the turmoil. We see the political divide within this country, within this city. We see that. How do you hold a vision of peace? Through positive thought. That's our job. We are not called to do the easy work, just for the record. If you thought, oh, we're just going to skate through. No, we are called to do the hard work. Holding that vision of peace is part of the hard work. Like the story of the basketball players earlier, right? Those basketball players went through an experiment that was working on rewiring their neural pathways to take the possibility of failure farther out so that they were more focused on what success actually looks like. The more we reinforce our neural pathways, the more likely we are to naturally go that way. But it's up to us to do it, or else the world will pull you down. Mother Teresa, who was surrounded by poverty, by illness, by starvation, again, famously said, "I used to pray that God would feed the hungry or do this or that, but now I pray that he will guide me to do whatever I'm supposed to do, what I can do. I used to pray for answers, but now I'm praying for strength. I used to believe that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us, and we change things. And I believe that's part of what Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore was referring to in the earlier quotation of, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Those divinely inspired dreams of things that we ought to do. And I'm guessing, I know I've had this experience, I believe many of us had. You get that flash of, ooh, I should be doing this thing. Ooh, that's going to be hard. Ooh, I don't want to. I don't want to make that change. But something divinely keeps nudging you, and you keep resisting, and the nudges get more severe, and you keep resisting, and suddenly there's a bam, and you really have to do the thing. Anybody but me have that happen to them? Okay, good. So when we get that sense of, I really ought to do this thing, you know that feeling. That's a divinely inspired dream of, I really ought to. It's not easy. Feeding the poor, healing the sick, all these things, they're hard. Envisioning peace is hard, but we are called to do it. We dream of the better world, and God works through us to make that happen. But we have to be able to release all of our limiting thoughts, all of our error thoughts, the things that we imagine that are not those positive thoughts held in mind. See it right to set it right. Or for the grammarians, see it rightly to set it right. And while much of this is about an invitation for allowing that divine in and the divine to work through you, I know there are a lot of people here that really want something practical, something I can do. We are meant to be a practical approach to spirituality. So we can discuss things philosophically, we want to understand things spiritually, but the fifth unity principle is no matter what you understand, you can know everything, and if you don't put it into action, you're not doing it. So how do we live on it? There was something shared in the men's group, and I asked permission to share this. Larry was talking about many years back, around the time of 9/11, that Andrea Worrell was one of the leaders here at that point. Many of us remember Andrea. And everybody was in emotional turmoil where there's so much uncertainty. It's hard not to focus on that thing. We remember those years, right? We remember that time. And what she said to people was, that's understandable. If that's where you are, write a poem. Write a poem about it. And Larry said he wrote a poem, and it helped in that process. And the funny thing was for me, when he said that, I was kind of like, because I'm a creative. I've always been a creative, and I still do creative work. But most of my creative work has been very directed to a specific project, specific kind of performance, a specific design for something. I've not taken much time recently just to create for the sake of my spirit, to create for the act of creation. It is like, I need to do more of that. That's something for me that I use to process. And it's like, oh, that's been missing. I should have realized that long ago. Even though there are people like Michael tries to hold me accountable. Have you worked on any art? Have you done any writing? Right, there are things. But it took that moment of like, I need to be doing that. So not everybody is in that creative mode. I want to talk about some things. I was reading a blogger, Rebecca C., or Becca. She has a blog called Basics by Becca, which is a lot for entrepreneurs. Now, she has a major focus on empowering women, which is great. She has a great blog. I recommend reading it if you want to look it up. She had a list of 20 ways to help make your dreams come true. And although many of them were entrepreneurial, they were also very spiritual in nature. So I pulled 6 of them out of the list of 20, because I want to give you something that you can latch onto and go, I could do that. Whatever that dream is, whatever that thing I know I'm supposed to be doing, and it may be hard, but I can do this thing. So the first one is whatever that dream is, whatever you're trying to do that might seem impossible, assume it's true. Peace. Assume that peace already exists. It's just well hidden right now, but it is there. Assume it's true. This is why we use affirmations, right? The affirmations assert the truth of what we know. Number 2 is to take action every day. So taking action every day doesn't mean you are forcing the hand of the divine, because we know that doesn't work either. But it means that you're taking accountability for your side of the equation. You don't just sit back and wait for everything to roll in. That is an approach, but when you're trying to overcome something and you need a step for yourself, then do something every day. It may be as simple as, I have this project in mind and I went and bought note cards so I could just start making notes on cards. Great. That's a step. That's a tangible step. The third one, make a timetable for yourself. So it's not just taking a step every day, but actually saying, let's say I want to create a business, but I need contacts. So by the end of next month, I will have contacted at least 3 people, right? These are timetables. Because again, if you're anything like me, it'll be like, oh right, I need to contact the 3 people, but I don't give a deadline, and it keeps falling off the to-do list because something else more urgent comes up. Again, anybody else or just me? Okay, good. So give yourself that timeline. Give yourself a timetable. Number 4, remember to dream big. There is nothing that is impossible to accomplish with God. Don't dream small. Dream big. Number 5, don't listen to the naysayers. We all know the naysayers. We've all sometimes been the naysayers as well. So it's important when you share dreams, when you share goals, that you are sharing them with like-minded people that you know will at least give you room for that or hold space for you, if not outright support for you. If you're sharing, and so often, it's the people that we love the most. It's our family. It's our close friends, because they want to protect you. And so what they say is, ooh, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, you want to quit your job and go back to school? How are you going to live? Oh, you want to move across country? You want to move overseas? That sounds dangerous, right? They want to protect you. Listen, absolutely, but don't give it the weight that they want it to have. You know what you are called to do. Nobody else really knows. There are so many examples of the naysayers going on and on about, don't do this, this won't work, and then because the person knows in their heart they have to do it, it comes through. Don't let them hold you back. Which leads us to number 6, finally, have faith and believe. You believe that you can do it, and therefore your mind tells you that you're capable of doing it. Because who's there to say otherwise if you believe it, right? There's a very common phrase of, I'll believe it when I see it. This is a case of, you'll see it when you believe it. You put the belief first. Are you capable of it? Yes. Are we capable of it? Yes. Because we won't be able to see it until we start there. Words carry power. Thoughts carry power, both positive and negative. And it's up to us to decide where we want to put that energy. Going back to Dr. Burnett, whose story I started with, she finished out, and I had mentioned this before, but I'm going to kind of quote what she says at the end here. She said, I was also inspired to put more intention and attention on the things that I know can bring more health and joy into my life. This week, I will spend 30 minutes a day visualizing myself making the best choices for my body, choosing to consume the healthiest herbs, foods, and media. I'm curious what things in my life I will transform. So I wonder what you can imagine transforming in your life. And I kind of want you to start on that thought. We're going to go into a brief meditation, but I want to start with thinking about those things that can transform. Michael, if you wouldn't mind playing under this. So as Michael's getting in place, if you want to make yourself comfortable in your seat, this will be brief. Get your feet on the floor so you're grounded. I recommend hands in your lap, palms up, ready to receive what is there. Feel free to close your eyes or lower your gaze. Take a nice deep breath and let that out. Again, a nice deep cleansing belly breath. Let that diaphragm expand and then let that out. And as you continue breathing deeply, I want to move that focus up into your third eye, that center of imagination. Breathe in through that third eye center. Feel the presence of God flowing through you. Feel the presence of Spirit flowing as you. That presence is renewing you, healing you, energizing you to find out what is yours to do. If fears or limiting thoughts arise, let them go. See them on their way. And relax into that playful energy of your power of imagination. And now if it feels right to you, allow my words to be your words. Through imagination, I can change the world. So I hold positive thoughts and imagine positive outcomes in all areas of my life. Loving and harmonious relationships. Abundance flowing to me, allowing me to give generously to others. Success in my plans and endeavors. My dreams are coming true because I am the light of the world, and the light within me creates miracles in my life, here and now. I am the thinker of thoughts that create my life, and divine Spirit withholds nothing from me. All good is available to me. I hold positive thoughts in mind because thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And therefore I am bringing more positive dreams into being. I am here in this world to be a sacred dreamer, to dream big dreams, and to let God work through me to make the world a better place. Now let us think on these things as we rest in the silence. As we bring our focus back to the room, feel free to wiggle your fingers, wiggle toes, roll your neck around. Open your eyes when you are ready. To quote John Lennon and Yoko Ono, "A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is a reality." So remember that light within you creates miracles in your life and in the world, here and now. You are a sacred dreamer. What sacred dreams can you imagine transforming in your life? See them, feel them, be them. And so it is. Amen, amin, aho, ashe. Namaste.